everyone, it's All Things Lymph, and I thought I would do a demonstration today for my Feel Better plan, my personal Feel Better plan that I used for long haul COVID. So I wanted to show you guys everything that I did, especially starting out in April, at the beginning of April, when I had to figure out a way to get rid of long haulers, or at least manage it to where I can live a quality life and a healthy life, so and get back to all the things that I did before COVID. So if you watch my other videos, you'll know that I had long haulers and had most of the typical symptoms, such as the brain fog, pressure in the back of my head and down my neck here on my left side, and a lot of lymphedema there, and also had problems with my spleen, which I didn't really realize until I was able to get it to drain out, and which stopped, drained all of the lymphedema from my side of my neck and the collarbone here, because I had lymph nodes that were swollen here, and in the side of my arm had a big rash here and swelling along here where there's lymph nodes, and had a real issue with that, and it caused a lot of pain. I could not move my arm up and down. I mean, I couldn't even move it up like this. I just basically had to keep it down. Had trouble picking things up with that hand and that arm, because of the strength issue there, because of all the lymphedema, and other pain throughout my entire body with lymphedema spread out. It wasn't anything that you could necessarily look at me and tell that it was there. I guess there was definitely swelling all in here, but and on my arm, and that was the worst area. But the rest of my body, I mean, I had pain in the joints everywhere. My knees were completely swollen up. I had fluid and everything below the knee on the front part of the shin area. So anyway, all those things aside, with the long haulers, I had to figure out a way to get rid of all that. So as you guys have probably seen, and if you haven't seen, you can look in the description box below. I always put the Feel Better plan. I have to really kind of watch what I say in my videos, because I was censored on 2 videos ago, and they didn't like what one of the videos that I had shown in that video. They didn't like that, so I had gotten a warning on that. But anyway, so now I switched and called my plan a Feel Better plan. It's my personal plan. I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe anything. This is what I do for my long haulers. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I do for that. So this is actually my second time making this video. I ran out of space on my memory card and my video camera, and had to take some of the stuff off of it. So anyway, I had already kind of started this before, but I'm gonna do it again. So here we go. I've got one of the big things that I did starting in April was I used bone broth, and this is very helpful for your cardiovascular system. It's very helpful for your heart, and it provides a lot of collagen to your body and joints, and to your thymus. The thymus is like the brain center of your immune system. So you want to take in some bone broth every single day if you possibly can. You can get it at any of the grocery stores. I think I got this one at Walmart probably, but you can get it at Hy-Vee, Kroger, anywhere. So whatever grocery store you have available to you. But this I heat that up in the morning, is what my regimen was through the whole, from April through the end of July. I did, and my protocol, I didn't do all of this at once. I did some basic things to get started, and then I gradually added other things as I went along, and figured out other things that were issues for me. Once I took care of the worst pain that was in all the left side, I was able to identify different areas of my body that I needed to detox further, or add a supplement to take care of those problems. So anyway, bone broth was one of the things that I definitely went for initially. And two, this is what it looks like. So I just heat it up in a pan, put it in a little bowl, and I will drink this in the morning. I haven't eaten anything. I've done some fasting this morning, and it's like 11:30 or going on 12 now here where we're at, so it's almost lunchtime. And so I'm going to go ahead and drink some of this. And that's my bone broth. Now I will just drink that whole cup. In 1 cup you get 10 grams of protein, and I think it's only it's 50 calories for 1 cup of bone broth. Very helpful for you. And they do have chicken bone broth, beef bone broth, so you can get whatever it is that you prefer. And then I will have a cup of Dandelion Root Tea every day, or Dandelion Detox Tea, which you can get at the store. And here is a box of that. Now this is the detox. I try to mostly stick with Dandelion Root Tea because it detoxes your liver. As you guys know from the other videos, I detoxed for a full 3 months on the liver. Now for me, my whole protocol actually took, I think I might have said 3 months before, it's 4 months for me, because I was figuring out all of the things that I needed to do as I went along. But I believe you can probably do all of this stuff in 3-month period of time. Since I know, since I put out my Feel Better plan, and again, it's in the description box below. You guys can print it off, use it however you want. There's many other things you could do with your immune system too, which is also in the Feel Better manual, which is more in depth and has all the research links and different things like that. But I put in there a whole bunch of other alternatives. These are the things that I chose and picked for myself that worked for me, but you guys can kind of figure that out yourself as well as you go along. Now I've got, I did the bone broth, I did the tea, which I just heated up in a teapot. You could do microwave, but they say it's better for you just to heat it in the teapot, so that's what I did. But anyway, and then I'll put that in there and I'll drink that. The other option that I also had available to me is when I started to feel better enough to where my arm and everything was okay, and because one of the things you want to do is you want to move around as much as you can, start to get some exercise. So I had dandelions in the yard. We don't spray our yard, so I actually went and got dandelion roots dug them up out of the yard the best I could. This was as much as I could get at that time back in May, I think is when I did these, because you can take the roots, you roast them in the oven. Maybe I can do a video on that later, but I roasted them. I put them in my little canning jar here, so that's what they are. I just take a little bit of this out of here. You put it in your saucepan with some water, and you boil it for about 20 minutes. And then once you boil that for 20 minutes, you can put it in a French press. I just have one of these. I use it for tea or coffee, but it has the little plunger in there. So then once you heat it up in your pan, you would pour it in your French press, and then you can just filter down and push the roots down into your French press, and then just pour the liquid off of that if you so choose to use actual fresh roots from the ground. That's also an option, and they are pretty potent and they do really work well. But the Dandelion Root Tea in the store is fantastic, so it's an easy way to do that if you don't want to go to the trouble of digging up the roots like I did. Okay, the other thing that I did is I took, for me, I am vitamin D deficient. I have issues maintaining my vitamin D, so I was already taking vitamin D before I got COVID. For several years before that, my doctor had me start doing that. So, and I usually would take like 5,000 milligrams of vitamin D probably like every other day before COVID. And then once we actually were on lockdown in March of 2020 and they said, oh, you've got to watch out for COVID. I work in healthcare with patients with the elderly in skilled nursing facilities. So at that time, I started taking vitamin C and taking the 5,000 every day to make sure that I kept my immune system boosted up as much as possible, so that if I ever did get COVID, hopefully it wouldn't be so bad for me. But as a maintenance plan, I take the 1,000 vitamin D every day now, and I will usually take 2,000. So I take 2 of these a day, 2,000 milligrams of this every day. That's just my maintenance of vitamin D. Instead of doing the 5,000 every other day, it still works out well enough for me. And remember, a lot of this stuff, there's just a range. You need to see what feels good to you, and what works for you. If you're not feeling better, then you maybe need to switch to something else, or increase your dose or lower your dose. So it's whatever works for you. And again, I have that plan, which will be in the description box, and here it is. This is a quick guide that I did, which has everything that I'm talking about today. It has that on in the description box below. You can print that out. The other thing that I did was I drank lemon water constantly, especially over the first 3 months. So I had lemon, and if I didn't have lemons, I had limes, and I would cut these and squeeze these using, this is something I got off of Amazon, which you can just cut your lemon in half, you put it inside of here, and then you push it down and squeeze it. And that's what I do. I put an entire lemon or lime if I don't have lemons, because you want that citric acid. It's very alkalizing to your body, and it gets out all the toxins out of your immune system. So this is a little bit cloudy and hazy, and that's just because I squeezed an entire lemon into this water. This is my lemon pitcher water that I bought at the store to make sure that I had a constant pitcher of water in the refrigerator at all times. I just squeezed 1 lemon in this full pitcher, and I believe this is a half a gallon pitcher. So, and I drink this every single day. This is the first thing that I drink in the morning. If it's cold out or something, like back in April and May, that we had some colder days, a lot of that I did the hot water with the lemon. And again, you just use your coffee cup, heat up your water, in your teapot, pour it in there, and squeeze a half a lemon is what I would do in a coffee cup. I know it seems like a lot, and it is pretty potent, but in the beginning I was hurting so bad I really, really needed to do that and just get my body cleaned out of all of the toxins and the virus and stuff. So but this pitcher is constantly in my fridge, and all the stuff that's floating in here, that's the pulp from the lemon that I squeezed in there. So you drink the pulp, it's good for you. It's not going to hurt you, and I do not put any sugar in that. The sugar is not good for your body, especially when you're trying to get over a lot of this stuff. So the sugar, it just actually is counterintuitive, the different reactions that it has in your body. Your body has to filter that out, along with, like, if you were to eat a lot of high greasy type foods or processed foods, your immune system has to filter all of that out of your body, because those are actually basically kind of like toxins that you're putting in your body. And yes, I know they taste good, but you want to limit yourself on those. And especially the first couple months, I would really try to avoid all of those if you possibly can, or just, a little tiny bit, and that's it. Go with all your fresh fruit and vegetables. Steamed broccoli, eat a lot of steamed broccoli. It's very good for you. All of the cruciferous vegetables. So, your broccoli, your cabbage, your cauliflower, all those. Eat chicken, really lean meats, chicken and beef, and stay away from the processed foods as much as you can until you get all of that inflammation, because all of those types of foods will cause inflammation, such as the processed, the sugar, and the really high greasy type foods. So anyway, the other thing that I took and still take is the Tumeric Curcumin, and in this particular vitamin there is also 50 milligrams of ginger, because I would also do the ginger, which I actually forgot to put with all of my stuff here for this video. So that is something that mine's part of my supplement, but you can take like the minced ginger or the shredded ginger or fresh ginger that you've cut up, the ginger root, and put that in your hot cup of water. And I did that as well. I would add that when I would cut my lemon and squeeze the lemon juice into my cup. I would also put in a spoonful of the ginger and stick that in my cup and stir it around, and I would drink that, and I would eat that ginger every single morning. So and I did that for a good 2 full months, 3 months, and because that ginger is really, really good for you to clean out the toxins as well. So basically you're just taking a lot of good healthy stuff that's going to clean your body out. The other thing that I did, you don't have to do it, but I did, is I took Quercetin every day, and that's 500 milligrams. Now, if you feel like the 500 milligrams is too much, my husband, who also had long haulers, something that he does is he got online and he bought little tiny capsules, and he takes the 500 milligrams and he will take one of the capsules out of here, he takes it apart, and he actually pours it into the little tiny 150 milligram capsules, and he just breaks these down into smaller ones because he couldn't get a hold of any quercetin that was in a smaller form, smaller dosage. So that's how he does it, and then that way he can take a smaller dose of the quercetin, because as kind of like a maintenance thing too, so that you don't have to take 500 on a daily basis. But when you are sick with COVID, you want to do that, and you also want to take it if you have long haulers. Obviously you're going to take this for a while, because what this does, what the quercetin does, and all of these vitamins, some of them we got in Dollar General, some of them we got in the grocery store, some of them we got at Walmart, some of them we bought on Amazon if we couldn't find it in the stores. But all this does is this has properties that helps your immune system and your immune system organs like your liver, spleen, all that. But it helps you absorb zinc, just like a I don't want to say the word hydro. I'm going to get censored if I say the word. So hydroxy, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is the alternative. It's plant-based. We figured this one out from a protocol that the Virginia Hospital Medical Center, I believe, was putting out very early on in 2020 after they did the COVID lockdown. So that's how we found this as an alternative to the hydroxy, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, but it helps you absorb the zinc. Our bodies have a hard time absorbing zinc, and so it needs a little boost to help it do that. I know a lot of protocols will say do the 50 milligrams of zinc and more. They will have you do more when you're actually sick with COVID. But as a long hauler, I found that I did fine taking my vitamin C and zinc complex, which this contains, 11 milligrams of zinc and 1,200 milligrams of vitamin C. I take this every single day. This is what I still take this every day, this amount. But I did this all the way through my Feel Better plan for making my long haulers better. Now this here is, like I said, it's got the 11 milligrams of zinc. Now if I feel like at all that I am getting sick from, say I was around somebody, maybe had the flu or whatever, if I feel like I'm getting some kind of cold or something, some other type of virus, because I work in healthcare, I'm around a lot of that kind of thing, I will take these 50s, I will cut them in half, and I will take, which will be 25 milligrams, I will take that with my vitamin C and the 11 milligrams in here, which give me like a 36 milligrams of zinc. And that, I tell you, will kick it right in the behind for getting you over. And I actually, there was flu going around our building, and no, it wasn't COVID because we're tested twice a week, and some of us come down with flu, and I started getting that. And the first few days I kind of let it go, and I didn't take that extra zinc. Well, when I started feeling worse, I went ahead and started cutting these in half, and I took the extra 25, and within 2 days, gone. So that's how fast the zinc really helps and gets rid of and destroys viruses. So you can take it for anything, any kind of virus. Doesn't matter whether it's COVID or not. Because just because we have COVID doesn't mean that there's not other viruses constantly trying to attack us, and other illnesses and things that we're around. And so you can use these. This is just immune system boosting so that you can fight off anything. My milk thistle was another one that I took that was in the protocol. That's right here. The milk thistle, I took just plain milk thistle. I think it was like 175 milligrams. This milk thistle is the kind that my husband uses. He's still detoxing his liver. He didn't start detoxing his until way later than what I did, so I'm actually finished with mine. By the end of July, I finished with that. He found these online, and he really likes these, and these are actually working very well for him. It's 240 milligrams of the milk thistle, but this also contains fennel, dandelion, and licorice, and they're all very helpful for the liver. So, and I think in one of my other videos when I talked about some other alternative type things that a person can do that might work better for them, fennel was one of them that was listed as another thing that helps detox your immune system. So anyway, that's what my husband takes. But like I said, I finished all my milk thistle. It was 175 milligrams, and they were just plain milk thistle, and that worked for me too. The other thing is also the ACG. ACG glutathione. I took this throughout the whole process. I didn't start this, I believe, until May, when I figured out that this is good for the immune system and can stop inflammation. Your liver produces this naturally, but if your liver is toxic from being a long hauler and having spiked protein stuck in there, you need to clean it out. You do this. This is one of the things. These are 6 sprays. Has a very slight mint flavor, but you just shake it up before you use it. I will show you. You take this. It's just a spray bottle. I got this on Amazon. This is a little bit more pricey. I think it was like $60 or something I paid for this, but you do 6 sprays in the morning and 6 sprays at night. As a maintenance for me, I only do 6 sprays per day, unless I were to get sick. If I get sick with something that I've picked up from where I work or from elsewhere, I will ramp this back up to 12 sprays for while I'm sick and trying to get over it, as I do with the zinc, adding the extra zinc, and then I just spray this in. So I think if I counted right, that was 6. Maybe it was 5. I'm not sure. I didn't pay that much attention. But anyway, it's 6 sprays. The other thing too for your intestines, probiotics, you might want to look into that. Good for the intestines, and I did do some of that. I didn't do it on a regular. I tried to do it regularly through the 3 months, but I have to say probably not every single day did I take probiotics, because I also added the Microbe Formula 1 and Mimosa Pudica seed. Let's see if I can get this over here so you guys can see it. I took these for 3 weeks, and I think it was the first week I did it every day, and then after that every other day, something like that, or every other day. It's in the quick guide that's in the drop box. So but I took one of those. The Formula 1, it smells exactly like clove. There's clove in here. It's all natural ingredients, and this is antiparasitic. So this takes care of any parasites you might have in your body from just whenever. From what I've read online, approximately 80 to 90% of people do have parasites in their body. Now, the reasoning why I took this was in place of the ivermectin. I'm going to say it like that because it's not how you say it, but I'm going to say it like that because I don't want to get censored. But anyway, this was in place of that particular drug that they talk about, and that they give to people when they come down with COVID. So that is an antiparasitic drug, the one that I just mentioned. These are antiparasitic supplements that are just vitamins. So I took a natural supplement that takes care of that is antiparasitic. So rather than get a prescription for the other one that I was just talking about, that the doctors prescribe, since I'm doing everything natural anyway, I just went ahead with the natural antiparasitic supplements. I took these and they worked fantastic because a lot of long haulers have pain in their abdomen because, again, when you have a virus, it can cause diarrhea and other things. I had a lot, around the outsides of my abdomen that I've talked about in previous videos. And so this was the thing that I did at the very end when I was down to where I was still having some pain there, and actually in my pelvic area and probably maybe around the ovary type area, and my lower back on the left side and my left hip. After I took these, I know it's strange, but after I took these antiparasitic supplements for 3 weeks, they all that pain was gone. It really, really did work. And you'll have to excuse me, I gotta take a drink. My throat's really dry. So, excuse me. Like I said, I've been fasting, so I need to drink and get some stuff in while I'm doing this. Okay, so those were the anti-parasitic supplements. I also took multivitamin, and there's tons of different multivitamins out there because you want to get all your other minerals and stuff in. And the other thing I was going to tell you is I did buy collagen supplement. You can take this if you don't want to do the bone broth, if you're vegetarian and you don't eat meat. I actually was vegetarian for a good 6-7 years before I got this long haul COVID, but the more research I did, I found that the bone broth is very healthful, and since I take these other supplements to boost my immune system up, I will take this if I don't have any bone broth in the house, and this is 1,000 milligrams. You could split it in half, take 500. I just happened to pick up a bottle that had 1,000, but I try primarily just to have it as a food with the bone broth, and then that will definitely help to help those joints and everything. And if you can take it in as food or liquid, your body absorbs that a lot better than it would supplements. So if you can get it through that, go ahead and do that. If you're vegetarian and you don't want to do that, there's collagen supplements as well. I went ahead and just went back to eating chicken and back to eating really, really lean beef. I don't eat the beef very often. It's not my favorite. But the chicken is something that I went ahead and just went back to eating it because I felt stronger when I started eating that. My joints started feeling better too, and the bone broth, definitely I found a lot of relief with the bone broth with my joint areas because of the long haulers. So anyway, I did go ahead and do that. My reasonings for being vegetarian was not a religious reason or anything. It was way back when I thought, I'm not a huge fan of meat, but it just was something that I felt I needed to do at the time. And but now, things change, and you should never be afraid to go back to something if you feel and find that you need it for your health. So that's something for me that I felt like I needed to do for my health wise. Okay, so, and I think, the other thing I was going to tell you guys about was the Microbe Formula 2. This was something I bought. It is not open. I didn't use this, but I bought this just in case the Formula 1 and the Mimosa Pudica seed didn't work. and I needed something stronger. The Formula 2 is a stronger liquid antiparasitic supplement. So if you feel, I mean, if you have really bad problems from long haulers in your intestines, this one, you may need the stronger one. So anyway, this is also available. All of these microbe formula ones I bought online, I believe on Amazon. So again, if you don't have lemons, you can use lime. But you want all of that citric, you want the citric acid from these, the lemons and limes, because that's going to alkalize your body and remove all of the toxins. So that's something to definitely consider when you're taking all of these supplements and everything. But you're going to want to do your lemon water multiple times a day. Drink fresh water as well. But you want to get that lemon water in, whether it's hot water with the lemon squeezed in it, and I'll do like half of a lemon, and like I said, a whole lemon into the pitcher of the lemon water, and drink the pulp. You're going to get pulp in there. Drink that if you can stand it. Otherwise, you could always filter the lemon water through a filter, and then that way it or a strainer, and get the pulp out if you don't like that. I just drink it all, and again, don't put sugar in there. Just drink it plain. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, the other thing too that I brought down to show everybody, because this was a really basic, and it is a foundational thing. I did all these supplements and all that, and the bone broth, and this is something that I still maintain because I have to keep that immune system as strong as possible, because again, there's a lot of variants that go around on COVID that are already out there, and so we have, those things that they go through the skilled nursing facilities. I work in one, so obviously I'm going to be around that. Now, at my job, we I'm not gonna pretend to say that we don't have COVID running through again, because we have had, and I've never gotten it. And again, that's something I'll talk about in the next video, where the CDC does tell us that we have long-term and durable immunity. So, and I think that's proof, because I've never gotten COVID again. So, and I've been around it. Here in the past 2 months, we've had it where I work, and so I've been around it multiple times. I have patients that have that. So anyway, it's not been a problem for me, and so my immunities must, and obviously, be pretty good now. So anyway, the brushes, you cannot forget the brushes. There's horsehair brushes. There is this is a boar's hair brush. This one's a little bit stiffer and harsher on the skin. This one I feel is softer with the horsehair brush. I do this every single morning. The other thing that I got with my kit, which only costs maybe like $15, it's between $10 and $15 on Amazon,